Hi, welcome to March Mexican on the CVNN channel. I'm here to cook you some Mexican food because it's part of who I am and it's part of my cultural background. And so what we're doing today is showing you a little bit of the cultural background of our food and probably see some similarities to how we cook and the kind of ingredients that we have in addition to the similarities of your culture as well. Today I'm going to make papas rancheras. Papas rancheras really translate into roasted potatoes. You can use them for a variety of things. They can work as a meal or an entree, but they can be a side dish as well. What you're going to need is 4 peeled russet potatoes. You can actually use any type of potato that you have. You want to peel them and then you want to parboil them. Parboil just means that you want to get them tender, not fully cooked, but tender enough because you're going to finish them on the stove. In addition, what we're going to do is we're going to use a ½ cup of white onions, a little bit of cilantro, some diced jalapeno, some garlic, some diced tomato, and some cheese to end with. We're going to broil it under the oven before you serve it. Additionally, we're going to add some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder as well. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is turn your stove on to a high heat, a medium-high heat, because again what you want to do is roast all of the items together. We're going to add a little bit of oil, I would say 2 tablespoons of oil. And then what we're going to do is add the onions first. And we're going to saute them. So they start to get transparent. I'd say it'd take about less than a minute. As they start becoming loose and transparent, what you want to be able to do is add, I would say, a tablespoon of garlic. You don't want to add the garlic at the beginning because what will happen is that if you have your pan at a high temperature, you're going to burn the garlic and then it'll become bitter. So what you want to be able to do is add the onion first and then include the garlic after. Right about now is when we want to go ahead and add all the potatoes. Remember, these are 4 whole potatoes that have been parboiled. And then at this point, what you want to do is go ahead and get the temperature a little warmer, because what you want to do is not only finish cooking the potatoes, but also start to roast them on the high heat of the stove. So what I'm doing is moving the heat to a little bit of a higher temperature. At this point, what we'll be able to do is add a little bit of ground black pepper. Pepper to taste. I'm a fan of pepper, so I'm adding probably a little bit more than I should. Some coarse salt. Some onion powder to taste. And some garlic powder to taste. Remember, we've already got roasted garlic in this recipe, so you don't want to add a whole bunch because you're already cooking that. So what you want to do is move your pan around, and what you'll see is sort of the browning of the potatoes. You don't have to do this at home, but this is the way I cook. So what I'm doing right now is just moving the potatoes around so that they're browning on all sides of the dish. Again, all we're doing is cooking them to roast them, in addition to finishing cooking the onion and the garlic. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of jalapeno peppers. They're seeded, so they're not too hot. It's all how you prefer your food, but all I'm going to do is throw in a little bit of jalapeno peppers into the mix. I'd say that was a tablespoon. And again, I'm going to move the pan around to make sure that those are incorporated into the dish. We're going to finish the dish before it goes into the oven. You should set your oven on broil high, because all your oven's really going to do is everything's going to be pre-cooked when you put it into the oven, but the idea behind that is you want to melt the cheese on top before you serve it. Again, what I'm doing is, again, high heat, browning the potatoes. And what you can tell to check the doneness of the potatoes, I sort of just know just based on instinct, but what you can do is you can sort of put a fork in the potato, and if it comes out cleanly and it goes evenly through the potato, then you're just about done with the completion of the dish. I'm going to give it a couple more turns. At this point, I'm going to add half a cup of tomatoes, just diced tomatoes. Any type of tomatoes will work. And that's going to give it a little bit of moisture, because everything that you've been working on really is sauteing in high heat. So at this point, you're going to add a little bit of moisture to the mix. The potatoes are fully cooked now, but the tomato doesn't have to be. So again, the piece of this is it's just an added ingredient for the dish. And I'd say that that's done. So the way that you finish it at the end is by adding cheese. You do not, cheese is optional. You don't need to add cheese at all. It's just another ingredient to this dish. You can eat it just as is, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and mix it with cheese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in an oven-proof pan, and an oven-proof platter actually. And I'm going to add some cheese. This is a combination of Mexican cheeses, but any cheese will work. And again, it's an option as to whether you choose to add cheese to the dish. I'm going to use all the cheese. And at this point, I'm going to put it in the oven. Again, the oven is on broil. So that's a high heat of temperature coming from the very top. And really all you're going to leave it in there for is about 20 seconds. And check. I'd say another 10 seconds. What you want is you want the cheese to be melted on the dish before you serve it, if you choose to put cheese on. This is again a great vegetarian dish if you choose just to make it with the potatoes and the vegetables, so it's something that you can use. If you want to add the cheese, that's still a vegetarian dish, but it's not a vegan dish. So the idea is that you could serve this as a vegetarian meal. I'm going to double check, and we're just about there. I'm going to count 5 seconds, and then we'll be done. Turn off the oven. And there you go, some papas rancheras or roasted potatoes. Enjoy.